He spilled it on purpose. Watched him step over the mess. Over him. Coffee pooled across the break room counter, dripping onto pristine tile. The man in the gray suit fumbled with paper towels, clearly struggling. 3 people walked in, got their coffee, and left without a glance. One of them actually sighed, annoyed at the inconvenience of navigating around him. This wasn't an accident. It was a test. Have you ever wondered how people treat those they think don't matter? Drop a comment, because what the CEO discovered in 2 weeks of invisibility changed everything. Adrian Rourke was a billionaire, built his tech empire from a college dorm room to a global powerhouse. Forbes covers, innovation awards, the kind of success that made people lean in when he spoke. But success had surrounded him with people who wanted something. Every conversation was a transaction. Every relationship had an agenda. He needed to know, did anyone in his company actually care about anything beyond their own advancement? So he disappeared, became Mr. Allen, a forgettable consultant with a clipboard and cheap shoes. He was searching for humanity. What he found was a mirror and one woman who refused to look away. Seattle's skyline glittered through Adrian's penthouse windows. Below, his company headquarters rose 30 stories. Steel and glass housing 1,200 employees. He should have felt proud. Instead, he felt hollow. Last month, his VP of engineering had thrown him a birthday party. Catered lunch, speeches, a cake nobody ate. Every smile felt practiced. Every compliment calculated. When he left early, he heard the relief in their voices. Finally, they could stop performing. 2 weeks ago, he watched an executive take full credit for a team's innovation. The actual creator sat silent, knowing contradiction was career suicide. Yesterday, someone had laughed too hard at his mediocre joke. The sound was desperate. Empty. He was surrounded by hundreds of people, and he'd never felt more alone. The question haunted him. Strip away the money and power. Who would these people be? Who would he be? So Adrian designed an experiment. Become invisible. Become inconvenient. See who helps when there's nothing to gain. Mr. Allen was born. Gray suit from a department store. Fake glasses. Modest sedan. A consultant hired to evaluate workflow efficiency. Forgettable, unremarkable, powerless. 2 weeks embedded in his own company. Deliberate tests planned. Spilled drinks, dropped files, requests for small assistance. Moments designed to reveal character when nobody important was watching. His hypothesis was simple. Strip away the power, and you'll see who people really are. He wanted to believe in his employees. He just needed proof they were worth believing in. Monday morning, Adrian Rourke disappeared. Mr. Allen took his place. Day 1, 10:47 a.m. 3rd floor hallway. Adrian dropped a stack of files. Papers exploded across the corridor. Expense reports, meeting notes, evaluations scattering like confetti. He bent down slowly, struggling to gather them. 10 employees walked past in the next 5 minutes. Some stepped over the papers without breaking stride. Some sidestepped and kept texting. One manager glanced back, slowed for half a second, then kept walking. Meeting to get to, couldn't be late. Nobody stopped. Day 3. Break room. The coffee incident. Adrian knocked over his cup accidentally, liquid spreading across the counter and dripping on the floor. He fumbled with inadequate paper towels, clearly overwhelmed by the mess. 3 people entered, fixed their drinks. Left. The senior VP of marketing walked in, surveyed the chaos, and audibly sighed, annoyed at having to navigate around the incompetent consultant. Now, are you okay? Not need help. Just irritation that someone else's struggle was mildly inconveniencing her. Day 5. Copy room. Boxes stacked precariously. Adrian asked a young analyst for help moving them. "Sorry, I have a meeting," she said without looking up from her phone. He checked later. She didn't. She'd gone to lunch. Day 7. The copier jammed while Adrian stood helplessly pressing buttons. The IT department head walked past. "Submit a ticket," he said without slowing down. Gone before Adrian could respond. How do you treat people who can't advance your career? Be honest in the comments. The pattern was undeniable. Polite faces when convenient. Irritation when not. Help offered only when witnessed by someone important. At night, alone in his real office, Adrian questioned everything. Had he built a culture of selfishness? Did success only attract the self-interested? Maybe the problem wasn't them. Maybe it was him. Day 9, 6:15 a.m. Most employees wouldn't arrive for another hour. The building was quiet, just security, early risers, and maintenance staff. Adrian struggled through the lobby door, arms overloaded. Clipboard under one arm, coffee cup balanced dangerously, supply box slipping, papers threatening mutiny. The clipboard fell first, then papers scattered. Coffee sloshed over the rim. "Hold on, I'll help." The voice came from down the hall. A woman in a janitorial uniform hurried over, work boots squeaking on polished floor. She set down her mop bucket without hesitation, rushed to gather falling papers before they hit the ground. "I've got the door. Go through, go through." She held it open with her hip, bent to retrieve the clipboard, handed it to him with a concerned smile. "You okay?" That was almost a disaster. Celia Gomez. Her name tag, slightly crooked, hands worn from years of work, but movements careful, gentle. Adrian thanked her, started to continue on his way. "Wait!" She jogged after him. "You forgot this." A pen, a 50-cent ballpoint pen that had rolled under a bench. She'd chase him down to return it. "Thank you," Adrian managed, throat tight. "Of course." Her smile was genuine, reaching eyes that held kindness without calculation. "How's your morning going so far?" Not small talk. Real question. She actually waited for the answer. They chatted for 2 minutes. Nothing important. Everything important. Then she apologized. "I'm sorry I didn't help sooner. I was mopping the other hallway. Heard the commotion. Everyone deserves respect, no matter their job title. Should have been faster." When was the last time someone showed you kindness expecting nothing in return? Hit that subscribe button. She returned to her mop bucket, humming softly, completely unaware she just restored a billionaire's faith in humanity. Adrian asked HR about her later. Celia Gomez, 51, single mother, daughter in high school, night classes at community college, 5 years with the company, invisible to most employees, the ghost who emptied trash and cleaned messes. She had everything to lose and nothing to gain. She helped anyway. 2 weeks later, company-wide assembly. The email had been vague. Mandatory attendance. Important announcement from leadership. Speculation rippled through cubicles and conference rooms. Merger? Layoffs? New product launch? The auditorium filled according to invisible hierarchy. Executives claimed front rows. Middle management settled in the center. Support staff scattered toward the back. Maintenance workers, janitorial team, cafeteria staff who rarely attended these meetings. Celia slipped in late, still wearing her uniform. Hadn't had time to change. She stood near the exit, trying to be invisible like always. The lights dimmed. A man walked on a stage. Gray suit, glasses, clipboard. Mr. Allen, the consultant. He began speaking. 2 weeks ago, I ran an experiment. The room leaned forward. I wanted to understand who we are when nobody important is watching. So I created scenarios, small tests. Spilled coffee. Dropped files. Asked for help moving boxes. Moments that revealed character. Uncomfortable shifting. Some people recognizing their failures. Faces flushing with realization. I wanted to know, do we help only when it benefits us? Or do we help because it's right? The room held its breath. Then he removed the glasses, straightened his posture, let the disguise fall away. "My name isn't Allen. I'm Adrian Rourke." Chaos. Gasps ricocheted through the auditorium. Executives went pale. The marketing VP who'd sighed at the coffee spill looked like she might be sick. The analyst who'd lied about her meeting stared at her hands. "Most of you failed." His voice carried disappointment, not anger. Not because you're bad people, but because you've forgotten what matters. The silence was suffocating. In 2 weeks, exactly one person treated me with genuine kindness. Helped without hesitation. Apologized for not helping sooner. Told me everyone deserves respect. He scanned the auditorium. Hundreds of faces staring back. Celia Gomez, are you here? Confused murmurs. Most employees didn't recognize the name. At the back, Celia froze, heart hammering. What did I do wrong? Could you come forward, please? The walk to the stage felt eternal. Every eye tracking her. Whispers spreading. Who is that? The janitor? Why? She reached the stage, legs shaking. This was it. She'd broken some rule, crossed some line. Adrian's expression was soft, almost emotional. You helped me when I was nobody. You chased me down to return a pen. You said everyone deserves respect. His voice cracked. You reminded me why I built this company in the first place. Effective immediately, Celia Gomez is promoted to Director of Staff Welfare Initiatives. The auditorium erupted. Applause, some genuine, some guilty, all stunned. Full scholarship for your daughter's education, 4 years, any school she chooses. Celia's hand flew to her mouth, tears streaming. Your salary is tripled, benefits expanded. Not charity, recognition. You've been the heart of this company for 5 years. Now everyone will know it. The standing ovation felt different this time. Real. Afterward, in Adrian's office, Celia couldn't speak, just kept shaking her head, disbelieving. Why me? Adrian's answer was simple. Because you saw a person, not a position. Because kindness without audience is the rarest thing in the world. Because you've been invisible for 5 years, and I'm ashamed I never saw you until I made myself invisible too. Her new role reshaped everything. First initiative. Living wage increases for all support staff, janitorial, food service, maintenance. The people who made everything else possible but got thanked least. Second, mandatory respect training for management, not corporate theater. Actual reckoning with how they treated people they considered beneath them. Third, visible appreciation program. Names learned, stories heard, humanity acknowledged. The culture shift was gradual but undeniable. The analyst who'd ignored Adrian personally sought out maintenance staff to apologize. Started leaving thank you notes for the cleaning crew. Break room spills now got cleaned by whoever saw them first, not just janitors. Executive VPs wiping counters alongside interns. Managers learning names of people they'd walked past for years. Asking about families. Meaning it. Celia's wisdom became company doctrine. Treat people like they matter and they'll show you they do. 6 weeks later, her daughter's college acceptance letter arrived. Full engineering scholarship, everything covered. Celia wept in Adrian's office. Photograph clutched to her chest. My Elena will have opportunities one never dreamed of. She'll never have to. Her voice broke. She'll never have to be invisible. Adrian's eyes glistened. She already had the most important thing. A mother who taught her character matters more than convenience. The test's real lesson emerged slowly. Adrian thought he was testing employees. Actually, he'd been testing whether success had destroyed his own ability to recognize goodness. He'd been looking for humanity in boardrooms and corner offices. It was there all along, mopping floors at 6 a.m. 6 months later, company culture rankings soared. Turnover plummeted, especially in support roles. Applications flooded in. People wanted to work somewhere that valued humans, not just human capital. Celia thrived, natural leader, respected across all levels. She still arrived early sometimes. Still helped with small tasks. Reminds me where I came from, she explained. Keeps me honest. Adrian understood. The empire meant nothing without people who cared. 1 year later, Celia and Adrian reviewed staff satisfaction data in the conference room where everything had changed. Turnover down 60%, particularly in roles previously considered low-level. Applications up 300%. Exit interviews now praise culture before compensation. But the real metric was different. How do we treat people who can't advance our careers? Adrian asked. Celia smiled, like they're the most important people in the building. Because they are. The tests have been designed to reveal character in small, unwitnessed moments. What it revealed, most people only help when they're being watched. Performance kindness. Strategic compassion. Celia helped because it was right, not because it was strategic. The lesson had cost Adrian nothing financially and everything personally. Character is what you do when nobody important is watching. The most valuable people are often the most invisible. Kindness without audience is the purest form of humanity. How you treat people who can't benefit you shows who you really are. Celia's perspective remained beautifully simple. I just did what my mother taught me. Help where you can. Respect everyone. Life's too short to be cruel to people who are struggling. Simple wisdom that rebuild a company culture from a foundation up. Adrian's transformation, from cynical to hopeful, from isolated to connected. I was searching for proof people still cared, he admitted during a company town hall. I found it in the last place I thought to look, not in the boardroom but in the hallway at dawn. Not in someone climbing the ladder, but in someone holding it steady for others. Elena Gomez started engineering school that fall, first in her family to attend university. She wore her mother's resilience like armor and her kindness like a crown. If this story moved you, like and subscribe. Tell us in the comments who's someone you overlooked who changed your life. And remember, how you treat people when nobody's watching is who you really are. He designed a test to find humanity in his company. What he found was a janitor who'd never lost hers, and a reminder that sometimes the most powerful people in the room are the ones nobody notices.